We're at lovely Scioto Downs just south of Columbus, Ohio on a fine May evening, and we've kicked off our 40th season of sensational harness racing. This is our first Scioto Downs Spotlight of the year. Welcome back, everybody, to Scioto Downs Spotlight. It's our 40th season. We've got a lot of excitement for you both here at the track and on our show. We've got a lot of top horsemen returning. David Miller is going for his 8th consecutive driving title. Virgil Miller for his 4th training title. And a twist, the two of them have hooked up together, making it even tougher on the competition. We're going to talk to another one of our leading driver trainers with our Pepsi personality segment. And we'll also talk to Bob Steele, who is the only general manager this track has ever known. We've got a lot of exciting looks back at some of the greatest moments in this track's history. Be sure and stay with us. Welcome back to Scioto Downs Spotlight. Now on this show we talk to a lot of people involved in the industry, owners, trainers, drivers. We've even talked to a horse. We found one fellow, Jeff Fout, who is our Pepsi personality this show, who is an owner, trainer, and driver. And you know that keeps him pretty busy. We ask him why he does it.
I enjoy training horses. It's a lot of fun for me, and plus about half the horses in my stable I own myself, so somebody's got to train them, so I might as well pay myself to do it instead of someone else.
Well, so many people, John Campbell, Bill O'Donnell, a lot of the top drivers, they used to train a big stable, and as their catch driving caught on, they just found it took up too much time. Do you ever look back and think, well, if I had concentrated just on driving, where you would have gone with your career?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The catch driving is basically the easy way to do it because you have no expenses, you know, no output of your cash. Everything just comes in. You don't have to put anything out. But I enjoy training, and like I say, the most money that I've ever made in my life is with horses that I've owned myself for actually amount of dollars that I can put in my pocket. So I enjoy that part of it. So I'm going to continue to do it as long as I can make money at it.
Well, that's another thing that's a little bit unusual. A lot of trainers own a piece of a horse or occasionally half of one with somebody, but not too many own a lot just on their own, because that can go bad as well as good.
Oh, it's a crapshoot for sure. I've bought horses for myself that were terrible, but I've also bought horses for myself that have made me a lot of money. So it keeps me doing it. Plus, this business is good to me, so it doesn't hurt for a guy like me, or actually more people like me, to maybe put something back in the business as far as giving some money back to the people that support you and raise horses and things like that.
Well, you buy mostly yearlings. What's the most you ever spent for one?
Around $25,000.
And what's the most one ever made you?
Just a little under $200,000. See, so you can see the trade-off is pretty good. You know, you can afford to buy a couple stinkers in there when you get a couple that make you some money.
And that horse that can make you $250,000 is the one that keeps you going back to the sales every year.
Absolutely. It's almost like a big tease sometimes, you know, where that one made you money, so the next year you go buy a couple more, and then they stink, but you still have good memories of the one that made you money, so you go back and try again. And I know that as being an owner myself, I can't go buy just like 1 or 2 yearlings a year and expect to make money. So, I mean, it really is a game of numbers. So that's why I try to keep it up around 5, 6, 7, 8 horses to give myself more chances.
Well, now, how many do you have here this summer?
That I own myself, I think I own probably all or parts of about 8.
And what's your total stable?
17.
17?
So it's almost half.
And most of them are young horses?
They're all young horses. I don't deal with aged horses. They got to be a really top horse for me to keep an aged horse around. Usually by the time after the 3-year-old season, we sell them and just concentrate on the young ones again.
But then there you are back to the crapshoot. It takes so long to get them ready. So many things can happen to put them on the sidelines. How do you have the patience to wait on those 2-year-olds to get to the races?
I've been married 5 times. You got a lot of patience. You learn to be patient. It's.
I don't know if that's a virtue or not.
I don't know either. It's, you know, I personally don't want a horse that's going to race well all summer and make me 15 or 20,000. I want to take a chance with the young horses that can make you that 100,000 or 100.5 or whatever. You know, it's just I'd rather take a gamble that way than have something that I know is going to race week in and week out, and you know, get your wins and your thirds and fourths, and adds up to a little bit of money there. I want to take a roll. It's like playing the lottery. I want to take a roll for bigger money.
Now, it's a team effort here in the Fout stable. Doug Jones is your trainer. Chris is a workhorse if I ever saw one. How does actually the balance of power work in here?
Well, my wife lets me think I'm the boss, so that's always helpful. It's a pretty good deal. Obviously, all the buck stops with me, but my help have freedom to make decisions and to put input, you know, into what we're doing with the horses, because I don't consider myself a genius, and anybody that's been around horses a lot, everybody has a little idea. So it's a cumulative effort between the help and my wife and Doug and the people that take care of the horses. I'm blessed with really good help there, and it takes all that little bits of information together. Then obviously the final decision's up to me, though. So I got to take the boot if it's wrong.
You've been coming to Scioto and other Ohio tracks for a long time. You winter in Florida. What is it about racing here that makes you come here rather than saying trying the big purses in Dover or going in the big time at the Meadowlands?
Well, first off, most of my owners and partners, which there's both, they're from this area. So just like any other person that owns a horse, you'd like it around you when it's racing, so they can, you know, that's part of the enjoyment, is going out and seeing your horse race and, you know, betting and having dinner in the clubhouse and things like that. And plus, I'm from this area. I'm Ohio born, and that just keeps kind of drawing you back. Plus, the racetrack itself, I like being here. The people are nice. They treat you well. It's a nice, clean establishment. You know, there's not much trouble around here. It's just a good place to be. I feel comfortable here, and I have some nice clientele that I drive for here too that really supplements my income nicely. So I kind of stick with that.
Now you are closing in on $14 million in purses lifetime, 3,000 wins. What's out there that you still want to accomplish, and where's Jeff Fout 5-10 years from now?
To answer your second half, 10 years from now, I mean, obviously I can't do this forever. I mean, because it's a young man's game. 10 years from now, I'll be too old, you know. So hopefully I can make enough money that I can maybe trim back and just maybe train a couple for myself, or maybe do nothing, maybe just go fishing if I can make enough money. I'm real happy with the things that I've attained in this business. I'm pretty lucky because not many people can have a job that can make you good money and it be a lot of fun at the same time. I mean, most jobs that make money, they're not like, you know, other people have hobbies to have fun. Well, this is my job and my hobby all rolled into one, and it's definitely a luxury in this day to where you can do something that is a lot of fun and make money at the same time.
And how about any race you really want, or any kind of horse you want that you haven't had yet?
Not necessarily. I don't really set goals for that myself. You know, I just want to have fun and make money. And I mean, I've been lucky. I've won the Heat of the Jug, and I've won stake races at the Meadowlands, and almost every track in the country I've ever raced at, I've won some kind of stake race. And so I've been lucky that way. I think that if you sit there and say, well, boy, I'd like to have me a Hamiltonian winner and things like that, that's, you know, there's only one of those a year. Mm-hmm. And so in the last 10 years, there's only been 10 of them. And out of the thousands and thousands of horses that are available, it's kind of foolish to think that you're going to like chase that one down. So I don't concern myself with that. I just want to get the best and the most out of what I got.
Well, it's certainly good to see somebody that really enjoys what they're doing. You're an asset to us here at Scioto Downs, and one thing he could do for a second career is stand-up comedy. You have a good meet.
All right, thank you very much. And back to you, Geraldo.
Welcome back, everybody. With us tonight is the only general manager this track has had in its 40 seasons, Bob Steele. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ann.
You're very welcome. Now, Charlie Hill is a person that built this track. The two of you were quite the pair. How did you and Charlie get hooked up all those years ago?
Well, believe it or not, I began with the company in 1949, and I was an associate judge at that time. A year or so later, Charlie Hill bought had some whiskey stock that was going bad, so he sold that and bought into a racetrack. And then he got very heavily into Hilliard Raceway, and after we were there for 9 years, we realized that the facility wasn't big enough. It wasn't the right kind of facility to actually do any more business. So as a result, we made the decision we needed to look for a nicer place and build a high show place of racing.
Well, now, did it take you a long time to find this property?
Well, it took about a year. We probably looked at 55 or 60 pieces of property from Route 40 to where 70 goes east now, and up north almost to Delaware. We looked at various pieces of property, and at the time we acquired this piece of property, we had no idea there was going to be a 270.
Which was a good thing.
Absolute luck, yeah.
Well, now I've heard it say that it couldn't be done about building this track in relation to, where did that come from?
Well, on opening night in October of 1959, we put up a sign. They said it couldn't be done, and because the reason that sign was up there is because at the time it appeared that it couldn't be done. But we made it happen, and we opened on that cold October night, and it was a very successful night, as a matter of fact.
Well, now you only had 2 sections of the grandstand done.
No, we had 3.
3.
We had 3 done. We had 3 done with roof sections. The other 2 sections did not have overhead roof at that point. And we had no clubhouse. Our offices were in the grandstand at that time. And the following year, we had a clubhouse that would seat 325 people.
So it's been an ongoing expansion of the building and the facilities and the amenities.
We seem to expand about every year or two, and we expanded the clubhouse to approximately 800 seats in 1967. Built the penthouse in 1972 or 3, and we built several facilities in the barn area to accommodate the horsemen, because they need good accommodations also.
Well, now, we've had a lot of very good horses. Rambling Willie, Gene Regal has schooled all his young horses here. Are there any races or horses or personalities that really stand out in those 40 seasons?
Well, probably the Memorial Day or 4th of July. I don't remember which was one of the 2. I think it's 4th of July that Rambling Willie was in a 5 or 6 horse photo, and it was a great race. And of course, Brad Hanover was here with Frank Irvin, and we've had some of the great drivers. Billy Houghton was here many times. We've had some of the great drivers in this industry here, and I hope that'll continue. I'm sure it will.
We certainly have a good colony right now. Anything else that really, any big problems, anything really unusual that defines Scioto Downs?
Well, I think the acquisition of land was the first nice thing that happened, and we came down here to look at it, and we were standing to approximately where the grandstand is now, and there was a barbed wire fence up there. It was a very cold, snowy day, and Charlie Hill and I were down there. Somehow he got up against the fence with a white leather coat and tore a little section out of that, which made him a little unhappy. But we decided right then that that was a natural amphitheater, and that's where the grandstand should be constructed, and that's how it happens to be there.
And that's why this has this nice flat area here and
That's
good
correct.
view from everywhere.
Yes.
Now, there's one story I've got to tell on you. I heard this story about Bob a long time ago. From Hilliard Raceway, you do run into logistical problems. Weather can wreak havoc on schedules. Tell me what happened when you had that rain at Hilliard.
Well, Harness Tracks of America had a pacing series known as the Mid-America Pacing Series, and it was later changed because there was a trucking company by the name of Mid-America, and as a result of that, I don't know how we ended up with Mid-America, but by the same token, we had about 3 inches of rain the night before this race, and Billy Houghton was going to be there, and I don't remember who the other drivers were. Eddie Cobb was going to be there, and we had some really good horses for that day in that little half-mile track, and the drainage was absolutely horrible. So I decided the next day that there was no sun, the sun could get on the racetrack because of the grandstand, so we bought fuel oil and gasoline and tried to dry the racetrack out, and in the meantime we caught the hub rail on fire. But then we put that out and painted it, and no one knew the difference that evening, but it did happen.
And now they know the difference.
Now they know the difference.
Well, Bob,
Won't
we're looking forward. We have these little problems in racing, folks.
That's right.
We're looking forward to a very good season this year. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Andrew.
Okay, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. Now, while we try to show you the best of what's going on in harness racing today, for our 40th season celebration, we wanted to take a look back at some of the most important points of history of this track, a look at some of the people, places, and things that are involved here in the history of Scioto Downs. We're going to start with the unique architecture.
It's an architectural landmark, and it's the site of 4 decades of thrills, home to many great moments in 40 seasons of thrills. As it rose in the summer of 1959, and with each new section being moved into place, the Scioto Downs grandstand promised nothing but excitement. Its shape, however, was like nothing ever seen in Central Ohio, or perhaps around the world. Technically, it's called a hyperbolic paraboloid. The sweeping, singular roofline of the Scioto Downs grandstand has become the single most easily identified grandstand in all of horse racing. In fact, that same year, 1959, only the St. Lawrence Seaway was judged to be a more important architectural achievement. Racing fans have known it for 40 seasons as Ohio's home of racing thrill. Scioto Downs, great moments in 40 seasons of thrills. Brought to you by Budweiser, reminding you friends know when to say when. And by Mike Sells, delicious snacks since 1910.
I just love that old footage, don't you? John Pavlak, the publicity director for the United States Trotting Association, edited those pieces for us. Did a very nice job. Thanks, John. Now we'll take a look at some of today's horses. We'll start with a couple of races from our opening night card, leading off with the Invitational, the top older pacing horses on the grounds.
Turn. Chris Sabra under confident handling, bouncing right along. Explosive Bunny can't go on second. Between horses, Hoosier Whiz, Spectrum is up on the far outside. Off the turn, in the stretch, they're on their way home. Chris Sabra is all alone. Hoosier Whiz and Spectrum on the outside, deep stretch. Chris Sabra in hand and in command.
Chris Sabra was Ohio's Horse of the Year at both 2 and 3. He made $100,000 last year at 4, and at 5, he's come back loaded for Bear. Our next feature from opening night, the open pace, just a notch below the Invitational.
Quarters. Money Battle on the outside, jumping off stride, just a little bit rough, and now has gone on the run. That leaves Metropolis out on top in 126 and 2. Driving around the far turn, Metropolis leads away by 3. Come On Big Guy moves into his second. Glebe is up on the outside third. Our Big Cat is fourth. Money Battle is fifth, and Hercules Sabra, they're into the stretch. Metropolis on top, and now clinging to a 2-length lead. It's Metropolis who leads the way to the wire. Racing second, Come On Big Guy, but it's Metropolis wire to wire.
Metropolis making an impressive first start back this year, 156 and 1. He's the big gun from the Virgil Morgan stable. Now we're going to switch gears and gates and go to condition trot.
2. Around the far turn, Active Jim by a half a length. Crown Time Stella going a big one fresh off the bench. Followed by Self-Imposed. Dropping back DJ, Wally Witten, Hilltopper's Grace. They're into the stretch. Active Jim being hard pressed. Crown Time Stella on the outside, looking the favorite right in the eye, but the favorite is too good. It is Active Jim and Crown Time Stella. 2 wide here, and who do you like?
It's very hard to tell from that camera angle, but Crown Time Starlet does get up, does it the hard way, and is a deserving winner. We'll be right back with a look of some of our upcoming events. Don't go away. Earlier past performances where you saw Chris Sabra win, he tied the track record of 152 earlier here tonight for older pacing geldings. Now, if you want to go home a winner from Scioto Downs, we've got just the man to help you do it. Jason Settlemore, the fans man, will be talking to you every Saturday night on the grandstand level, sponsored by Labatt Blue. Another ongoing event here at Scioto, Tuesday is college night. Present your college or faculty ID at gate 1, 7, or 10 and get free admission to all levels. Now our stake season kicks off in earnest with the Scarlett O'Hara Pace later this month. Top 3-year-old pacing fillies on the grounds already prepping for that race, like Polished Satin and Flitterty D. That would certainly be appropriate since that's a takeoff on Scarlett O'Hara's favorite saying. And of course our family days, the first one, Memorial Day. Gates open at 10 a.m. Tours leave shortly thereafter. Now be sure you're here before 11:15 or you'll get left behind. Now starting at noon, we have pony rides, face painters, clowns, entertainment for kids and adults, both. Now, parents, you can go ahead and say, the kids wanted to come to Family Day, we had to take them. We won't let them in on your little secret. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of exciting events here at Scioto this year. We're really excited about it. Hope you'll be a part of it. Good night.